We're here to do big things this session, and we have big, bold ideas.
We have to be willing to look outside of the box and see what's happening around the world, especially as innovation and technology advances.
We have to do things that make people want to bring their families here and be a part of Oklahoma.
We need to have a tax structure that is not overly burdensome. We need to have regulations that are transparent.
How do we help students? How do we help our state? How do we help the business community? This is a win-win-win for everybody all across the board.
Oklahoma made significant progress in the past 2 decades across key areas of concern to the economic growth of the state. To prevent regulatory and fiscal policies that threaten investment and growth, the State Chamber will lead the charge toward the transformation of foundational policies that threaten business. Through the State Chamber's thorough legislative agenda-setting process, led by the Council of Advisors, key areas of impact were identified as critical to protecting business growth and investment in the state. In the 2022 legislative session, the State Chamber will work with the legislature to make Oklahoma's tax code competitive, address Oklahoma's workforce shortage, and reduce the cost of doing business in Oklahoma.
Sometimes it is a challenge to get engineers or research and development personnel.
We need smart taxes, not necessarily just low taxes.
We need a judiciary that reflects Oklahoma's values, our priorities.
According to the State Chamber Research Foundation, addressing these 3 areas is the first step in improving Oklahoma's competitiveness rankings across a variety of metrics that make the state economically sound. To generate more capital investment and income-producing activity, the State Chamber will advocate for modernizing the corporate income tax structure, repealing anti-growth taxes, and a streamlined tax code for individuals and businesses.
I'm a believer in that old adage that capital flows like water. It follows the path of least resistance.
What can we do to make it as efficient and as minimal as possible?
I think that we need to simplify our tax code, making it better for corporations, businesses, and for individuals.
We really need to look at an overhaul of the entire system to be competitive nationally.
Addressing Oklahoma's tax code will create economic growth, expand wealth, and create jobs. The COVID pandemic exacerbated Oklahoma's workforce shortages. However, the problem is not new and has only intensified due to the long-standing gaps in how Oklahoma prepares its workforce. We're leaving our best workers on the bench, and we need to get them in the game.
I don't just look at workforce recruitment issues as a legislator. I look at it as a business owner myself. It's my #1 impediment to growth.
We need engineers, teachers, and nurses.
What has a better opportunity to change the lives and the trajectories of Oklahomans than putting them in a good-paying job?
The State Chamber will advocate for reforms to unemployment benefits, creating choice and accountability in Oklahoma schools, and strengthening our higher education system.
If we don't have an educated workforce, then we're really at a major disadvantage.
When you think about Oklahoma's 2.0 post-COVID economy, we know it's going to be jobs that are focused on science, technology, engineering, and math. The state ranks 49th in the country right now in high school students ready for those fields.
We have to stop doing the things that aren't working, only fund the things that are working.
By indexing the unemployment system, adopting a coordinated strategy in higher education to address critical workforce needs, and giving Oklahoma families choice in public schools, we can create better outcomes and a more prepared workforce.
If we don't get this right, the states around us are trying to.
Oklahoma's current judicial system creates an uncertain and unfair legal climate for businesses, which holds back economic growth.
People underestimate the impact that workers' compensation has on the business industry, on lives in general.
Businesses were afraid to invest in Oklahoma because the cost of workers' comp.
They look at the cost of litigation here, they look at the cost of insurance, and they just don't come.
Oklahoma's landed back on the American Tort Reform Association's list of judicial hellholes.
We don't want to erode the judiciary, we actually want to make it stronger.
The State Chamber aims to have transparency and neutrality in our judicial system, reduce litigation costs, and fine-tune the workers' compensation system. These policies will help Oklahoma remain competitive while ensuring Oklahomans encounter a legal system that is fair and balanced.
If not us, then who? If not now, then when? We really have a lot of work to do to move the needle in the state of Oklahoma. It's going to take all of us working together.
If we don't take advantage of this moment in time, quite frankly, it's not going to come back around.
We have to do better.
Until we improve the education, we're not going to improve the workforce. We're not going to improve the quality of life. We're not going to keep people here in Oklahoma.
Be more forward thinking about the future of where we want to see Oklahoma.
The State Chamber's 2022 legislative agenda is forward-focused. Through tackling core structural issues, we'll begin creating a pattern for growth, moving the needle toward becoming a top state. Your business engagement is paramount to this process.